Hello, you're watching the English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm NGUYEN, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. Vietnam-US veterans and choice of conscience. NGUYEN aims to become a modern industrial center. CHAU develops community-based tourism from cultural identity. A ceremony was solemnly held on the morning of September the 22nd, U.S. time, at the UN headquarters in New York to celebrate the 80th founding anniversary of the UN. President Lương Cường, leading a high-ranking delegation of Vietnam, alongside senior leaders of UN member states and international organizations, attended the event. Speaking at the ceremony, President of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Annalena Baerbock, stressed that this is an opportunity for countries to reaffirm their commitment to the UN Charter, a fundamental document expressing the aspirations, beliefs, and hopes of humanity for peace, development, and human rights. Affirming that the United Nations, with its global political prestige, is the only organization that can connect all countries, Ms. Baerbock called on member states to promote cooperation and support the reform of the UN to adapt to the new era. Countries need to stay united and act to together solve such global problems as hunger, conflict, and climate change. In a speech, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stressed that over the past 80 years, the UN has been a platform for hope and international cooperation, a forum for dialogue between nations to promote peace, human rights, sustainable development, and humanitarian action. He called on all nations to comply with international law, uphold the UN Charter, and cooperate towards peace, justice, and progress for all. Veterans from Vietnam and the U.S. can take pride in the choices of conscience they have made on the path toward reconciliation, friendship, and strengthened ties between the two nations. This was the message delivered by President Lương Cường at a meeting with veterans from both countries. The event took place on the evening of September the 22nd local time, marking a year of major milestones, the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification, the 30th anniversary of the normalization of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and the U.S., and the second anniversary of the two countries' upgrade to a comprehensive strategic partnership. The event saw numerous Vietnamese and American veterans and the families of those who once stood on the opposite sides during Vietnam's resistance war against the United States. Despite coming from two countries and having been adversaries in the past, they share a common aspiration for peace, a spirit of reconciliation, and a desire to continue writing a peaceful future for both nations. Highlighting key achievements in Vietnam-U.S. relations since diplomatic normalization in 1995, President Lương Cường stressed the vital role of veterans in healing and reconciliation. Both nations have cooperated effectively in repatriating U.S. service members missing in action, clearing unexploded ordnance and dioxin, supporting people with disabilities affected by Agent Orange, and identifying fallen Vietnamese soldiers. The war took too much from both the Vietnamese and American peoples, leaving unfinished dreams and painful memories. With compassion and tolerance, the Vietnamese people have chosen to set aside the painful past, to look toward the future, to forgive but not to forget. I believe that future generations of Vietnam and the U.S. will together build an era of peace, cooperation, development, and mutual respect. The President thanked the icebreaker in Vietnam-U.S. relations and expressed hope that veterans will continue supporting the nation's stable, growing, comprehensive strategic partnership. At the event, President Cường also witnessed a moving exchange as veterans from both nations returned keepsakes to the families of Vietnamese and U.S. soldiers. Earlier in New York, President Lương Cường met with long-standing friends, partners, and progressive Americans who have supported Vietnam over the years. The gathering brought together friends from various U.S. states, representing thousands of Americans who have consistently shown love, solidarity, and support for Vietnam. These progressive Americans shared moving stories about their efforts to support Vietnam, help heal the wounds of war, and promote the development of bilateral relations. They also praised the remarkable efforts of the Vietnamese people in socio-economic development. Recalling with emotion the solidarity and support extended by these friends and the American people, President Lương Cường affirmed that the party, state, and people of Vietnam always remember and deeply cherish this precious friendship and assistance. Stressing that people-to-people diplomacy is a key pillar of the Vietnam-U.S. Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, the President emphasized its role as both a catalyst for building trust and a bridge that fosters closer ties between the two nations. He called on organizations and individuals from both countries to enhance exchange through flexible and diverse forums, to further promote people-to-people diplomacy, cultural exchange, and the strengthening of mutual friendship between the peoples of Vietnam and the U.S. On September the 23rd, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, attended and delivered remarks at the first Congress of the Thái Nguyên Provincial Party Committee for the 2025-2030 term. The event was also attended by former Party General Secretary Nông Đức Mạnh, leaders of central agencies, Thái Nguyên Provincial Party Secretary Trịnh Việt Hùng, and Senior Lieutenant General Phạm Trường Sơn, Deputy Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army. This Congress was held under the Politburo's Directive No. 45 on party congresses at all levels, ahead of the 14th National Party Congress. Since Thái Nguyên Province was recently merged and reorganized with Bắc Cạn Province, the gathering focused on reviewing the achievements of the 2020-2025 term and charting new directions, goals, and solutions for the next 5 years. Over the past term, the party committees of Thái Nguyên and Bắc Cạn and the new Thái Nguyên leadership after the merger remained united, upheld democratic centralism, and achieved solid progress in party building, strengthening the political system, and social-economic development. General Phan Van Giang voiced confidence that Thái Nguyên will continue to make breakthroughs in developing modern infrastructure, advancing science and technology, driving innovation and digital transformation, and improving human resources to realize its vision of becoming a modern industrial hub. In Haiphong, a working delegation of the Central Military Commission Steering Committee on Breakthroughs in Science, Technology, Innovation, and Digital Transformation, or Steering Committee 3488, led by Senior Lieutenant General Lê Huy Vịnh, Deputy Minister of National Defense, inspected the Navy service implementation of Resolution 57 of the Politburo and Resolution 3488 of the Central Military Commission. In recent years, the Navy Party Committee has translated these resolutions into concrete actions, ensuring timely and serious implementation. The service has identified 3 key research groups in priority areas aligned with the development of naval weapons and technology. Specialized software and databases have also been effectively applied, enhancing leadership, management, and scientific capacity. General Vịnh urged the Navy service to focus on building research groups capable of reaching national and regional levels in strategic maritime technologies, supporting the design and production of specialized weapons and equipment. He emphasized the need for clear planning, roadmaps, and support mechanisms to ensure the development of strategic products that serve military and defense missions. The 11th Military Party Congress set a clear direction of building a self-reliant, resilient, dual-use, and modern defense industry capable of major breakthroughs. This strategic orientation is vital for strengthening the military and safeguarding the fatherland in the new situation. In recent years, the General Department of Defense Industry and related units have made strong advances. Manufacturers now research, test, and produce sophisticated equipment on modern production lines, including missile systems, radar, electronic warfare devices, and unmanned aerial vehicles. These achievements are the results of serious training and the ability of Vietnamese engineers and workers to master new technologies. Resolution number 8 opened a new stage of development with a focus on innovation, digital transformation, and core technologies. We must effectively apply advances in science and technology to research, design, manufacture, and modernize weapons and equipment. Priority should be given to semiconductors and advanced materials, ensuring our forces modernize directly. Developed under the principles of self-reliance, dual use, and modernization, Vietnam's defense industry continues to grow with the central goal of mastering core technologies to design and produce modern weapons and equipment of strategic importance. Our target is for defense production to account for over 50% of revenues, economic products more than 70% of total output, with annual worker incomes rising by over 5%. These results show Vietnam's defense industry is not only growing steadily, but also achieving early breakthroughs, reflecting the party's strategic vision of building a strong whole people's national defense and firmly safeguarding the country. Coming up next, State Bank of Vietnam urges opening and use of foreign indirect investment accounts. Lai Châu develops community-based tourism from cultural identity. On September the 23rd, the State Bank of Vietnam sent a document requesting domestic commercial banks and foreign bank branches to seriously implement the regulation on opening bank accounts for foreign indirect investment in Vietnam. The State Bank of Vietnam urges the comprehensive implementation of Circular 3 and accelerates the opening and use of accounts for foreign indirect investment, contributing to facilitating the investment flow in the country. According to Circular 3 of the State Bank of Vietnam, enterprises with foreign investors holding shares or capital contribution portions of equivalent to 50% or below, previously less than 51% of their charter capital, have to open Vietnam Dong accounts for foreign indirect investment. Implementing Resolution number 4 of the Provincial Party Committee on Preserving and Promoting Traditional Cultural Identities in tandem with the tourism development for 2021-2025, with a vision to 2030. Many localities in Lai Châu have adopted creative approaches. Distinctive cultural features of ethnic communities are not only preserved and revived, but also turned into attractive tourism products, generating income and contributing to local socio-economic development. Located beside the majestic Hoàng Linh Mountains, Chuva 6 village in Bình Lưu Commune, Lai Châu Province, is a long-established community tourism destination, attracting visitors with its pristine beauty and the well-preserved cultural identity of the Hmong people. My family currently runs several bungalows and a cafe to serve visitors. We decorate the bungalows with traditional Hmong patterns. We're also working to revive aspects of Hmong culture that have been lost so that more visitors can experience and learn about them. Not only in Bình Lưu, but across Lai Châu Province, the implementation of Resolution number 4 has been widely and actively embraced. Efforts to collect, restore, preserve, and promote traditional cultural values, develop distinctive tourism products, and train human resources for community-based tourism are being carried out decisively. It can now be said that the resolution is truly taking root in daily life. Cultural values that were fading have been restored, and those still existing are being maintained and further promoted. Cultural identity is an invaluable asset of Lai Chou's ethnic communities, and when linked with tourism, drives socio-economic growth and improves livelihoods. Resolution number 4 sets a sustainable course, making culture both a spiritual foundation and a distinctive tourism product, helping Lai Châu stand out on Vietnam's tourism map. And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch news again at qpvn.vn. Now, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.